Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Cyberpunk video. Whenever I make one of these, one of the most asked questions that I get is always in regard to the user interface mods that I use. Turns out that a lot of people find the vanilla interface as kind of cluttered or unappealing. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you the mods that you can install to make the user interface better. Without further ado, let's get right into it. The first one you want to install is HUD. This mod allows the player to freely move around and resize some of the main HUD widgets. This mod is why my HUD is laid out in the way that it is. I made it that way. So if you want your minimap on the bottom left or your quest widget to be smaller or bigger, you can do that. You can pretty much control any of the HUD elements. Speaking of the minimap, as you can see, my minimap is circular as opposed to the vanilla square. That's because I'm using a mod called Big Compass Around Circle Minimap, which adds a circle minimap. I also downloaded a mod called Minimap Widgets, which adds even more information around the minimap. It tells you what district you're in, what gang controls the area, all of that. If you want to enhance the quest widget, I use a mod called Streamlined Quest Widget, but I understand that this redesigned quest widget may not be in everyone's taste. So if you want it to look a bit more like the vanilla quest widget, I recommend downloading a mod called Quest Widget Right Aligned, which aligns the text to the right instead of to the left like the vanilla. I honestly found this version much less intrusive. For the crosshair, I use a mod called Crosshair Simple Redone, which redesigns the crosshair to look a bit more like a traditional, symmetrical crosshair. It's much more pleasing to look at, in my opinion. Another thing that's more pleasing to look at is the Minimalist Loot Icon mod, which overhauls all of the loot icons to be a bit more simple and minimalistic by turning the icon into a circle instead of the weird loot box icon that they have in the vanilla. Another smaller quality of life mod for the HUD is the Looting QOL mod. All this does is show you what enemy type you're looting. It's very minor, but I personally liked it for immersion purposes, instead of it just saying contents. Another HUD mod that can kind of add to your immersion is the Kuroshi Optical's Crowd Scanner mod, which adds a system similar to the Watchdog games, where if you scan a random NPC, it'll give you a procedurally generated background on that NPC's character, giving each of them like a mini backstory, mini lore. Finally, the last mod that we have for the HUD is the HUD Painter mod, which allows you to modify the color of the various different HUD elements. My preset is more in line with the vanilla colors, but I tweaked the colors just a little bit to make them a bit more vibrant and contrasty. Now that we're done talking about the HUD, let's dive into the more user interface side of things. The first mod I have for that is the E3 menu background mod, which changes the background of the menus to be a more sleek blue blur. I prefer this version because in my opinion it looks much more clean, it looks much more cool. For the backpack, we have the revised backpack mod, which adds a new and much more informative backpack screen to the game, as well as the stash and backpack search mod, which adds a search mechanic to both the default backpack and your in-game stash. And for your inventory, there's the More Weapon Columns mod, which adds an additional 1 or 2 columns to the weapon select menu. That way you can see more weapons on your screen at once. For your map, there's the Realistic Map mod, which makes your map look a bit more like a top-down satellite view of Night City. There's also the Real Vendor Names mod, which displays the actual store names of the vendors into the map, instead of it just being a generic food vendor or drink vendor label. And the Custom Map Markers mod, which allows you to add your own map markers onto the map and choose your icon and give it custom text. There's also even some nice quality of life fixes for the saves menu. There's the Named Saves mod, which allows you to name your saves, and the Filter Saves by Life Path and Type mod, which does just that. Finally, the final mod we're going to be talking about today is the Splash Logo City Nights mod, which replaces the breach or splash logo that you see when you first load the game. I really like this mod because in my opinion, it just looks so much more pretty to see Night City as you load into the game, and less boring. With all of these mods combined, you can perfect Cyberpunk 2077's HUD and user interface, molding it into a much more neat and sleek looking design. A lot of these mods are going to be up to personal preference, like you may not like the look of some of the mods that I talked about, but a lot of them are just pure quality of life fixes that you really don't have any reason to not download. And that about covers today's video. But before I say goodbye, I want to give a huge thank you to all of you that are watching. Over the past couple of weeks and months, I've experienced a lot of growth on my channel. It's been amazing to see all of your kind words and even some of your constructive criticism that I have taken into account. So thank you a lot, it means a lot. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to bring that subscriber count even higher. With that being said, thank you for watching, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.